Good evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink, and allow me to be the first to welcome you to Mustache Summer. That's right, baby. It's 2021, and we're letting it all hang out. Thank you for joining us. It's been a few weeks, I know, but hey, I've been on vacation. I hope you have as well. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a nice beverage ready. I know I do. Let's get right to it. What do we have here? Well, they're tiny little people, aren't they? This guy right here is an LJN SWAT figure. That's right. Looks like Amigo, feels like Amigo, but ain't. It's actually a little bit better because it's got a bicep swivel that allows him to hold his guns. It's pretty nifty. Now, I like this guy for nostalgia reasons, and I'm also a big fan of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 classic that was filmed right here in Pittsburgh. Now, this guy actually makes a great representation of Roger, who is one of the main characters from the film. There are four characters. There's Roger and Peter, who's the other SWAT guy. Then there's Flyboy, and what's the fourth character's name? Franny. That's right. So I'm 1/4 of the way towards a nice little squad of Dawn of the Dead figures. I hope to pick up at least another one of these SWAT guys and build my little army. So, yeah, we'll see. What kind of army is it when the guys can't even stand up on their own? There we go. You may have noticed another figure right here. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. America? What's that? Yeah, I know. It's a popular misconception. When I was a kid, I suffered from it as well. Back in the day when this figure first came out, I was already well into the Mego universe. I had Spider-Man, and I had Batman, Superman, Aquaman, maybe a few of the bad guys as well. I told everyone I knew. I told my parents. I told my grandmother, aunts and uncles, folks from near and far. But it was my grandmother on my mother's side, Grandma Mink, who usually came through with stuff like that for me. And she came to my birthday party, as she always did, bearing gifts. Fantastically enough, she would wrap them. Aw, come on, y'all. She would wrap them in the Sunday Funnies, which was very cool because gave you the opportunity to read your present before you opened it. But there were a number of things in there, the sort of things you'd expect your grandma to get you: shirts, socks, and this guy. And when I opened them, I was blown away. I was thrilled, over the moon. My grandmother said, "Oh, you're happy. I can tell. You better be happy. I looked all over hell and creation for that Mr. America doll." I think for a moment I may have opened my mouth before a stern look from my mother shut me down. Under no circumstance was I going to tell my grandmother that she'd spent months looking for a character who was actually named Captain America. But as far as I'm concerned now, Mr. America, that's pretty good as well. I'm thrilled to add Mr. America to my growing Mego collection. We're going to place him right there. Keep an eye on Godzilla for us. And maybe even Peter can get in the action here. Okay, so enough about that. Plastic silliness, huh? What can you say? The older we get, we like to indulge ourselves just a little. Speaking of indulgence, have you indulged yourself in the best damn black and white comics anthology on the market today? It could only be Yeet Presents. That's right, Yeet Comics Presents. This is issue number 44, featuring the debut of the Roguettes. And this is a fun story told in the Bronze Age fashion. It shares the book with... Who's that? Why, it's my own Storm Owl, written by myself with art, as always, by the legendary Eric Luna Salazar. That's right, this is issue 7 of Storm Owl. If you missed it, well, you don't have to miss it. Follow the link, get yourself a copy, and see what's going on in the world of Storm Owl. Let me tell you, this one is a game changer, folks. Nothing will be the same after this one, for sure. All right, you may have noticed a few old comics sitting next to me. Of course, we're going to talk about those next. What do we have? Right off the bat, it's Adventures into Fear with the man called Morbius, the living vampire. And that's a hell of a lot of text to cram onto one cover. Between that, the word balloons, little box on the bottom, even the 10-cent price tag handwritten in red ink. But still, 10 cents. Pretty good price for a copy of Adventures into Fear 27. If my market research tells me anything, speaking of a good price, I paid $1 a throw for these. Howard Chaykin's American Flag. This is number 2. Number 3. 4. And 5. That's right. I'm a big fan of Chaykin's work. Usually back in the day, my budget was eaten up by first comics like The Badger and Nexus, so I'm happy to be able to add those to the old guys' archives. I'll track down one and maybe a few of what comes after that. Read them from beginning to end. There's nothing like enjoying a series from start to finish. Then we have Conan the Barbarian, number 56. Guy climbed a lot of towers. Get himself a step car or something. Then we have Dark Shadows. And now I'm happy to add these to my collection because Dark Shadows comics, well, they can be hard to find. Not only are comics fans into them, but TV fans, horror fans as well. Folks who like vampires. You know, there's a lot of competition for these, but how nifty is this? By day, cuddly toys. By night, deadly dolls. Farewell, Barnabas. See, this is what's going to happen to all us action figure collectors one of these days. And then what do we have here? Oh, it's the Occult Files of Dr. Spectre. Frankenstein's monster, Mr. Hyde, the vampire, the mummy, all return from the dead to destroy Dr. Spectre. Then we have Fantasy Masterpieces number 3, possibly the most exciting event in all of comicdom. Check your local listings. It's Captain America's original adventures from the 1940s rediscovered. Yeah, apparently they were in a filing cabinet in the back of the office somewhere. I left this one out of the package just so you can see that fantastic splash page. That's right. And then we have another dynamite splash page here. It's Captain America and the gruesome secret of the Dragon of Doom. Then we have Frankenstein's monster in Phoenix, Aflame. And because you demanded it, the monster speaks. I didn't demand that. I don't want that at all. Well, pay a little more for this. It's Ghost Manor, if you dare. And begin to make up your own dialogue. So apparently Charlton was, really looking to get some writers at this point in time. So, if you can come up with some words for these Vikings to say about this robot, well, Charlton might have a job for you. Then we have Haunted, all new stories and art. This is number 1, and 3 stories packed with that Steve Ditko goodness. Then we have a couple nice Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lanes. Usually my copies of these are thoroughly roached, but for $1 a throw, I found these. This is number 98, and here is Lois up to her typical evil shenanigans, cutting off his spit curl. Oh, jeez! And then we have a little bit later on, number 110, Lois, you must give up that Indian papoose now for your own safety. Never, he's my baby. When Kirby returned to DC in the 1970s, not only did he do his Fourth World saga, but he did some off-the-wall stuff as well. We have Fighting Forces featuring the Losers, Captain Storm, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, and Sarge. Then we have, You know, sometimes even I go too far. You know, I love going to the outskirts of the old comics realm, finding stuff that I've never read before, picking it up, bringing it home, especially when I get it for a good price. But, you know, I have to ask myself, do I really need a copy of The Love Stories of Merryworth #1? Well, for $2, I'm going to say yes. Ah, here it is. It's the most startling slime creature of them all. When tabulating your results at the end of the show, please put Man-Thing at the top of your list. You must read A Candle for St. Cloud. That's pretty much what this one is all about. Man-Thing is barely in it. It's basically about a narcotic candle and some chick just tripping out. Very weird, the sort of comic that you could only find in the 1970s. Then we have Collector's Item Classics #2 from 1966. This is the second great issue, and I think this is when these were yearly. We have Fantastic Four #3, Amazing Spider-Man #4, and Tales to Astonish #37. Whatever. You've already bought the comic. They got you hooked. Then we have Marvel Collector's Items Classics #6. And then, what do we have? Oh, it's Hands of Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu. And, it looks like his hands are bound, but he's not letting that stop him. He'll kick you if he has to. These books are pretty hard to find at the moment for a good price because of the movie, but I always scoop them up when I can find them. This is issue #18, so it's still pretty early in the run. Some pretty classic storytelling right here for $1. Then we have, here's a nice little run of Metal Men, 47, 48, and 49. What's special about these? Well, I'm sure you know. It's Walt Simonson artwork. Not necessarily the biggest Metal Men fan, but super happy to add those to the archives. Check them out. And then here is this beauty. It's Mike Shane, Private Eye. Now, this is a Dell, so I'm guessing it's pretty toothless as far as it goes. But that cover, well, it's a knockout. Absolutely. Had to have it just for that. And, well, if the story inside is half as good, then I'll be doing all right. And then I got a great deal on these. These are the kitchen sink reprints. This is Spirit number 14, 15, 16, and 17. And I tucked them all in one bag because they fit in one bag. I have actually experienced that dreadful sinking feeling that comes when you know that you just bought 100-pack and you've burned through all but 3 of them. So, you know, I'm being a little bit conservative, but why not? Because they fit. I paid $1 a piece for these, and, you know, they're reader copies for sure, but super happy to have the work of Will Eisner in a convenient form like that. And then they continued the numbering, but the comics got a little bit bigger. So we have number 20, and I think 21, and then number 23. That's a wonderful Halloween cover. You can only imagine what that would have looked like as an original printing. The colors would have really, really popped. What next? Well, it could only be Submariner number 40, guest starring the one and only Spider-Man. That's pretty interesting. It actually looks like Spidey is in Atlantis or something like that. Never read this one. Be cool to see what happens there. Oh, and DC Comics. When they were good, they were very good. And when they were bad, they were terrible. Here we have Lana becoming the Insect Queen and rebuking Superboy's advances. The 7 Insect Lives of Lana Lang. And introducing B-Boy. That's right, you know it's a key. So when that B-Boy movie comes out next summer, oh yeah, I'm going to be sitting pretty. And then we have Adventure Comics presents Supergirl. And I was blown away by this cover. I think this might be Carmine Infantino. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section below. I know they're one and the same. And now, to prove it, Suspicion. And then, oh, here's Superman himself. Sorry, Superman, but our tests reveal that you only have 50% of your powers. That means we're rejecting you from our club, the Galactons. That's probably just as well. I don't think Superman would look nearly as good in harem pants. Next up, it's Luca Torelli, the Torpedo. That's right. This was a series of strips that were anthologized in the late 80s, early 90s. I really enjoyed these. Hard-biting crime stories. Creators listed below because their names escape me. But this is issues 1, 2, and 3. Luca Torelli, the Torpedo. This is some very entertaining stuff right here. Thrilled to be able to add those to the archives, and $1 a piece, too. And then we have UFO flying saucers. That's right. What parent could possibly resist giving their kid 15 cents so they could learn about ominous encounters that confront and baffle mankind? And I got to say, wherever these paintings are, well, they belong in a museum. Absolutely. Works of art, for sure. Once again, the inside's not always great shakes, but, the painting's phenomenal. Then we have Weird Wonder Tales number 6. Dear Lord, it's my husband, and he's after you. Now, you would think that you would have noticed the 12-foot-tall green skeleton sneaking up on them, but, hey, passion is a funny thing. Then we have Where Monsters Dwell. Here's Droom, the living lizard. And I was really happy to pick this one up. This is thoroughly roached, but that, in a way, adds to its appeal. It's the astonishing super-length adventure, The Clayface Superman, appearing at the ballpark near you. And then wrapping things up. Yep, that appears to be it. We have a couple world's finest, Superman and Batman. This is not an imaginary fight scene, nor a symbolic picture, nor any sort of cop-out. That's right. Why did you say that name? And here we're going to finish things off with Superman and Aquaman washing up on the beach like so much trash. That was a motif that DC really seemed to hit upon a lot back in the day. All right. Well, on that note, I have to say thank you for joining us. It's been great to see you. Look for Comics for Breakfast to return in the next month and a half or so. It's coming. It's coming. We're working on it. Hey, I wish you a wonderful mustache summer. I'm Jason Mink, and I'll see you next time.